Being a flight attendant isn't just a job, it's an adventure that shapes who you are. And today I'm joined by Zarifa, who is going to share her story, how this aviation field shaped her, what did she learn, and what paths this field opened up for her. Thank you so much, Zarifa, for
Thank you.
joining me today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I love to talk about this. And meeting you here has been such an interesting thing, right? In brush off and out of the blue.
So unexpected and such a twist of fate to meet here.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anything happens by chance. So I think we meant to do something like this.
Especially that I had the last minute setup for everything and the planning. So I was thinking to myself that if everything, if it's meant to happen, everything will fall into place. And it did. And I'm so happy.
Absolutely.
Happy this way.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. Let's start with the very beginning. How did it all started for you? How did you get into aviation? What pulled you into that direction?
Okay. Well, I'm a psychologist, so aviation was not in my plans. So in 2008, I was living in Brazil. I'm going to make it short because this could be like a 3-hour story. And I felt I was bored with what I was doing. I was working with HR and working in an English school. I liked it. I liked my life, but I was ready to do something different. I was 31, which is an age which is pretty much on the limit of when people decide to join. I had no experience as a flight attendant, and I applied on holiday in the south of Brazil, and I thought, I'm just going to give it a try. I wanted to travel. I wanted to do something different. And I got it. I got the call, the golden call. And 2008, I flew to Dubai, and I thought, I'm just going to do this for a year and see how it goes. And it was 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a calling, not exactly for that job. I wanted to do something different and travel. And that was what came up. And I thought, okay, let's try this.
It's funny that this is how it happens, actually, when you're just lighthearted about something. Things just happen. They just click, and opportunities come to you easily when you don't stress much about it, when you just want something, but you are fine with whatever the outcome is. And I think that was...
Yeah, I had a very clear picture that I wanted to leave Brazil. I wanted to travel. I wanted to make more money. I wanted to, have an adventure. And I was always asking for the universe to bring that, whatever form it came. And it came as Emirates. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. If I think about it, this is how it happened for me as well. I wanted the same. I wanted to travel. I wanted a job. First of all, I didn't have a job. I was straight after university, struggling to find something in the field that I studied, but I wasn't very excited about going into accounting and all this. And same as you, I wanted to travel, and out of nowhere, this opportunity came. And it's very beautiful the way life somehow gives you something, and it's up to you to, reach as well.
Yeah, and to be brave and embrace it.
Yeah, I think bravery is a big part of this.
You have to have courage, because I usually say this is absolutely not for everyone. It's, like you said, not a job. It's a complete change in lifestyle. So it's something that completely changes you and changes how you see the world. So it's definitely not a job.
I agree. What I like to say is this job is like the second most complex job a person can have, right after being a mom.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it challenges you, not exactly in the same way. They are very different, but the way you feel inside, it's very similar. You need to have a lot of patience. You need to be open-minded. You need to be creative to put up with so many people.
Prepare for anything, right? As a mother, you never know what's going to happen. You go on a flight, and it could be supposed to be a 3-hour flight. It can become a 15-hour flight, and you never know what's going to happen. So you need to be very flexible and open-minded for sure.
I agree, yeah. So how was your journey with Emirates? Did you advance in your career? How did you go?
So 14 years, I was a while in economy. It took me a good 7 years. I was a bit naughty in the beginning, and I was not really taking the job as seriously as I should have. Then when I got to business class, which is the first upgrade, it was very quick, and I was like, okay, if I'm gonna be here, I better be, getting upgrades and working my way up. So 7 months in business class, and I got the cabin supervisor role, which is after the second role of seniority. And then I was cabin supervisor for, I think, 6 years, 5.5 years. And then when I decided to, it's another funny thing, I was really planning to be a purser 14 years. And I can explain later what being a purser is, but I applied and I was waiting for the training. I had done my interview, and then at that point I decided to resign. And so after I resigned, then I got accepted. So I was like, okay, I made my decision. So it was, once I decided to take it seriously and do what I needed to do, it was pretty quick getting to cabin supervisor. Yeah.
So you transitioned three roles, right? So which one did you find it more pleasant, and which one was it more challenging?
Cabin supervisor, absolutely the most challenging, because in economy, you're like, you're learning and it's heavy physical work. Business class was a very short, it was like in between a very short time, but cabin supervisor, you have so much responsibility. You're dealing with, two teams of 8 cabin crew every time, every flight. You have new people that you need to get to know, understand each personality, do the briefing, make sure they understand your leadership style, understand about each person, set your goals, and then, of course, everything that happens on your flight is your responsibility. So you really have to be not only physically active, but extremely mentally aware, not only of what's happening in the aircraft and with your passengers, but with your crew as well. And I've learned so much being a cabin supervisor. I usually say I learn more about people than my entire course of psychology, because you're dealing with different nationalities. People are tired, people are happy, they have lives, right? And things are happening in their lives, and they bring that to work, and you have about 10 minutes to transform that. It makes me even like to transform that into something positive. And I believe that in that briefing, that little time that you have, you need to do that to make sure the flight goes smoothly. So, and you have to find the balance of not being overly friendly, but setting the tone for the flight, making sure that you bring that good energy, because you're responsible for that. I believe that. And then being really keeping that up during the flight. Yeah.
I think as a supervisor, you are actually the glue in the team, the glue that holds the team together.
Yeah.
And you really have to juggle all these people, as you said, and not only that, but the passengers, all the paperwork, and so on. So yeah, I think it's very, very challenging.
It
And
is. But it's very rewarding. I learned a lot about myself, about my limits, about people, patience, a lot more than I have learned in my entire life in any other job.
I like the way you put it. It's more than what you learned from psychology.
Yes.
Psychology University.
Because it's real life,
Yeah. Okay, so how was it? How did you decide that you want to move on to something else, to do the transition?
Me to leave the company?
Yeah.
I was tired. I think doing this job for that many years, I was not 20 anymore. I was 40, beginning of my 40s. I'm 49 now. And it was extremely tiring. physically, mentally. That's the negative part. I struggle to sleep. So I was really looking after my health, eating healthy, exercising, taking supplements, and really focusing on being healthy because I always thought this job is not healthy at all. So by sleep, I couldn't manage it. So I was taking sleeping pills. I was sleeping very little, and that was really being the biggest problem. And I was like, okay, I'm 40, 42. I need to make a decision now and move on if I need to. It's the time. It's the time to do it. So it was a time where it was just before COVID. So I think I was really lucky to make that decision because I wouldn't like to have that decision made for me and be fired. So I met someone who's my husband now and the love of my life, and he was resigning as well. So it was a nice time, the right time for us to do it together. And we had plans and we were excited. So it was not so hard because I was excited about something else, about the new stage and what we're going to do and this new relationship. So it helped me. So it's not like I resigned and had to go back to my country and be by myself. I didn't go back to Brazil, which is my country. We had this beautiful new relationship. We were moving to California. We had a new role. I had a new role in the same company. So it was exciting times.
I agree that this probably helped you a lot, the fact that you started something new and it was exciting for you.
Yeah.
Because for most people, or better said, for myself, it was very hard for me to the transition and to come out of that bubble. I can say it's a bubble where the cabin crew life. And I didn't even know there was such thing, but I experienced what they call the reverse cultural shock when I moved back to Romania. When you move out, you learn, I don't know, new habits, new work ethics, new anything. You learn how to be in a completely different culture and environment, and then you come back a different you to in a place, which stayed the same, of course. And it's really difficult for a person who does that to adjust. And I didn't even know this was a thing, and I really struggled with that. So
because you, like you said, you're not the same person anymore, and you go back, and that was my biggest fear, to go back to Brazil, because I knew that I was not the same person, and you go back and you find everything the same way, and that doesn't fit you anymore. Like, it's not for you anymore, right? And that's what happens to a lot of people who go back home without a plan, or even if they have a plan, it's like, okay, what now?
Yeah. For years, I tried to think if I could have done things differently. Maybe if I planned my exit in a different way, if I thought about it more thoroughly. But somehow I didn't have an answer, because I think things are meant to happen in a certain way, because once you reach, I don't know, even if you're transiting a period of struggle and stress, it's there to help you grow in a certain way. That's my belief.
Yeah.
So what would you say? Do you think there is a way to make the transition easier?
Well, I was just having this conversation with another colleague the other day, and I would say plan. I did course in nutrition during the last years, and I had somehow a plan. So I think structure yourself and plan. I'll see a lot of people go back to their countries and open a business, or if they don't have a job. I mean, it's not like you're going to have a job lineup. So it takes a lot of courage to come out of something that's certain and you have everything on a golden plate for you and start something new. But I would say if you don't have a job waiting for you, which is usually not the case, structure yourself, studying, preparing yourself, making plans, being very focused on what you want to do. If it's to open a business and do an Airbnb, whatever it is. In my case, I studied and I did nutrition, and I what I wanted to do is to integrate nutrition and psychology, and that's what I work with now as a therapist. So, of course, it doesn't give you any guarantees, but definitely you need to kind of have a plan. It helps.
I agree. Yeah. Like a safety net, whatever works for each individual. But I think you do need that, especially when you're making a change as big as this one, like moving countries, changing cultures in certain cases, and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you are a nutritionist, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't call myself a nutritionist. It's called, we say it's an integrative nutrition therapist. And the difference is a nutritionist is someone who only helps you with nutrition and they know about nutrition. So what I do is integrate nutrition with psychology and therapy. So the people who are my clients are people who need help in the nutrition department, but also they need help and support with emotional eating or reasons behind the fact that they're putting on weight, women on menopause, so hormonal health, gut health. And in case of us women, a lot of times that women start putting on weight is not necessarily because they're eating the wrong food, but it's because there's something behind, there's something going on in their lives that's giving them stress, or they're not well, they're not mentally and spiritually well, so they put it on food what should be focused on other areas. So that's how I work with, I say women because I would say 95% of my clients are women. So,
There is probably always a psychological reason or an emotional reason behind everything that happens, and our body just reacts
yeah.
very very fast. And I think it's very interesting that you do that and you integrate the psychological parts. Yeah.
Because during the time I was flying, how that started, I would always bring my food. I was always the oldest one. And the girls would always look out to me because not only I was the oldest, I was a cabin supervisor, but I was always thin. And I always said, I don't want to put on weight. It was my biggest fear because I say this in my book. The first time I went to the uniform store and you try the new uniform, they say, oh, just get 2 sizes bigger because you're going to put on weight. Yeah. And I was like, no, being stubborn, where I said,
horrible.
That's not going to happen. So I always had that worry of keeping healthy and being healthy and exercising and eating healthy. So I would bring my food on the flight. And so they would ask me all the time, oh, how do you keep fit? How do you go to the gym? Are you not tired? How do you? And then I started to think, okay, no, I can help. I can work with that and I can help those girls. And I started with Cabin Crew and started doing this course in from New York, from integrative nutrition therapy. And then when I resigned, I said, okay, this is my passion, this is my life, this is what I live, this is what I believe in, and that's what I want to do. And I already had some clients because they were asking how, like it came from them, it didn't come from me. That's how it started. So yeah,
and you adapted.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. So you started even before.
Before I resigned. Yeah.
I'm thinking that taking care of of your health, of the eating habits, of your body, it's very important in general, but especially with this job. And I believe so many people don't even realize this, especially with all the disturbed sleeping patterns and jet lag and so on.
And it's very easy to get into a very unhealthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because you're staying in hotels all the time and, there's always after the flight, oh, let's come down for a drink or, have those huge breakfasts or I'm too tired to, to go to the gym or to prepare some food. So the lifestyle kind of pushes you to be unhealthy. So you have to really fight back. And it is a struggle to stay healthy and because it's just everything else pushes the other way.
Yeah.
So
it's really hard.
And you want to compensate being tired and being by eating, you get home 2:00 in the morning and you're hungry and you're like exhausted and you're gonna eat and go to sleep. So it's not a normal life, right? It's
Not
not
at all.
what people do. It's like you cannot plan yourself. So it's extremely hard. But there is a way. There's a way to do it.
I always like to highlight this. As you know already, I help cabin crew aspirants to become cabin crew to get the job through my private sessions and through my online course, Fit to Fly. So I'm in touch with people who are aspiring to this job, a lot of candidates who want this job. So I always try to bring that reality as well, you know,
Yeah.
because this is the real.
We were not told that. I wasn't not told
No,
that.
I wasn't aware.
Like I was not aware, and you just don't realize. And some people are not aware until they get to the point where they're either very sick all the time, or they put on 10 kilos in like 2 years, and then it's like, oops, something is not right. So you really need to do it for yourself because no one is going to do it.
Yeah, and if you just let yourself go with the flow, I think it's not a good thing.
No.
You need to prepare. You need to be very decided to do something when it comes to this, because otherwise you wouldn't even be able to read what your body really wants. As you said, you come back at 2 in the
Your
morning.
body doesn't know
Yeah,
anymore.
do you need sleep? Do you need to eat? Do you need a coffee? Do you need to just relax and stare at the white wall? I don't know.
Yeah, it's very hard to put into words how you feel. And my husband was just telling me how he always asked me that, how did you live with jet lag for 14 years? And that's the case. You're constantly jet lagged. So like you said, you're not listening to your body is not really telling you anything because you're not on a normal schedule and lifestyle. Is just crazy. So you really need to find, I thought to myself, I need to find my way. I need to find what works for me. And that meant being antisocial a lot of times. When everyone is going down for a drink, I was going to the gym, or saying no a lot of times. You know, if I was in Dubai and I could go to bed at 9:30 at night, I would, and I would avoid some parties because it was like an easy choice. It was my health, or it was that Dubai lifestyle war. And I had to make that choice for myself.
I think they briefly mentioned this during the training, but I mean, when you're a new joiner, who has ears to hear that?
No.
I mean, they just say, yeah, it's very hard. You need to take care of your body, to go to the gym, eat healthy, blah, blah, blah. But nobody hears.
No, they just want to have fun and enjoy, right?
And see the world and enjoy everything.
Yeah.
So because I was like you, I wasn't very aware of all these side effects, so to say. I actually really wanted to make sure that my students, the people I work with, are aware of this. So I added to my course a little ebook which is called the Cabin Crew Survival Guide.
I love that.
And I put everything in there. Like I touch on wellness, on jet lag, on homesickness, because homesickness is a real thing also that people have to deal with.
Loneliness,
Yeah, exactly.
depression.
Finances, the exit plan, as we spoke earlier. So yeah, these are the things that I think we don't really talk enough, because most people just highlight the traveling, the lifestyle, the places you see, the restaurants you go and eat to, and so on.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe is there a way to? I'm thinking that maybe people who are watching us are interested in this job. So maybe you can share a little bit, if you want, on what are the things that they should be aware of when it comes to food, especially.
It's hard to say, right? Because that's like with Emirates, for example, you're dealing with, I don't know, how many cultures, right? And our food has a lot to do with your cultural values and what you used to. So, like the way I had clients from Emirates from different cultures. So if you're from Romania and I have someone from India, I'm not able to say, okay, have some salads or for your meals, because they're not used to that. It's not part of their what they they like and what they eat. So I would say, find for yourself the things that you like to eat that work for you, because also what works for you at a certain age doesn't work at a, like if you're in your 30s or in your 40s. So it's what you like. There's not one recipe fits all. And you can try fasting, cutting dairy or cutting. I think it's about awareness of your body and what works, right? So if you feel, okay, I'm putting on weight, or I don't feel well after eating this, or it's really being aware of what works for you and creating a plan, right? If you're able to cook and bring your food, having snacks or going for longer periods without food, it's really hard to say. That's how I start with my clients anyway. Okay, let's make a list of what the things you like. Because you shouldn't tell someone you should eat chicken and broccoli if the person hates that, right? So you should eat what you like, but also what makes you feel good and what's healthy for you. And that's not the same for you and for me, right? So here, for example, I'm in Romania, and every dish I have is with polenta. I rarely have polenta, right? It's something healthy, but it's not something that I'm used to. But I'm loving it because I'm avoiding bread and pasta. So I think it's really about awareness and really focusing and having your health as your priority.
It's really knowing your body.
Really knowing your body and paying attention. And when you have your health, not only your body, but your health in general as a priority, you will have to say no to certain things and certain people, or go to a bar and be able to have one drink and not five, or choose a healthy meal. I mean, most restaurants you go to, you have a choice. It's about choices, I think. And when people say, I don't have time, and all the excuses, it's only about priority. If your health is your priority, you're going to find a way to do it. And you have so much information nowadays.
And the time is the same for everyone. It just depends how you choose to spend it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of my friends would think, come on, enjoy life, live a little. And I always think, I'm living a lot.
I want to keep living.
I want to keep living, and I want to keep living. My thing is to be like my mom. My mom is like what I look up to. She's 75. She's super fit. She can go to the gym with me. She can go on tracks. And she followed, and she has such an amazing energy, and she's healthy. So that's what I want to be. I want to be 75. I want to be a grandmother. And when you're 20, you don't think of that.
Exactly. It seems so far away.
It's so, but you know what? It's like this, right? When you realize you're 40, you're 50, and I just want to have the energy, first of all, and be healthy and have a good skin. And then, of course, have a good body and all of that. But that's, again, it's not a priority for everyone, right? So if it becomes your priority, there's a way to do it. And it's with structure and learning to say no to whatever doesn't suit you.
So what you're saying is that it can happen. It is possible to look fit after 14 years of life.
Absolutely.
As long as you know your body, you choose to prioritize your health and say no most of the times, but indulge in some things you love.
Of course.
Once in a while.
Of course. Yeah. Like I would have desserts here and there, but like I had a structure. So of course, some places you choose, okay, I'm going to have this brownie and ice cream, but if it's not every day, and you have some kind of structure and you exercise, then it's fine. There's a balance. Yeah.
So I was saying that I am in touch with candidates for this job all the time, and I see a lot of debate on the internet about whether this job is, toxic, and it really takes a toll on your health, as we discussed, and whether if it's worth it or not. And on the other hand, there are the people who, see this as the holy grail, like the biggest dream they could ever achieve. And I'm curious to know, what is your position regarding this?
That's a very interesting question. I think, like I said, I was in my 30s, right? I don't think I would be able to have that mentality in my 20s. I think that when you're too young, when you're 21 or 22, we know, now I see that. You see it as a holy grail, and you see only the the great things, and you're not really mature enough to be able to cope. That's why a lot of people resign, a year later. It's a lot. It's like being a mother when you're 15 or 16, or it's a lot to deal with when you don't have the maturity and you're not prepared. So I would say it's extremely hard. It takes a lot from you in so many levels. There's nothing really that prepares you for that. I think it's about, for me, what helped me was that background I already had about, looking after myself and also spirituality. Because when you get to those lows and you're missing home and you're feeling lonely and you're feeling, okay, what am I doing here? This is so, you need something else to
Like
keep
an
you
anchor.
like an anchor. So if it's religion, if it's spirituality, if it's yoga, whatever makes you happy, makes you grounded, or if it's to go for a walk in nature, I think you need that with the maturity and to ground you, because the job does the opposite, right? It makes, well, we're going to buy, you're traveling, it's glamorous. So it kind of takes you out of your center most of the time. And I also found that, yes, it can be a toxic environment. You have so many nationalities, so many expectations, young people, and there's a lot of negative, especially now more than when I joined, a lot of negativity and complaining. And I made a decision as well about, okay, I cannot control what's around me, right? People will complain. There's going to be things that I don't agree with or that happen in the opposite way that I expect from the company, from the crew, from passengers. I can only do what I can do and be in my center. And I learned, I had one person who said to me once, and I asked him, how do you do it? And he said, when I go and I put on my uniform and I sign in with a card, I feel like I just imagine like I have a shield. I shield myself.
Yeah.
And I focus on my strength, my energy, and I try to push everything else aside, everything that doesn't belong. And then when I sign out and go home, I don't take any of them. I don't talk about crew. I don't talk about problems. I don't complain. Because when I see crew not only on the flight, but they bring it home and they talk to the roommates and they talk and complain. So you just create that negativity and the energy the whole time.
Keep it going.
You keep it going. So cut it out, finish the flight, go home, have a life. And I think it's really important to have a life.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're just recovering from a flight and watching movies or just sleeping and you don't have other hobbies and things that you like to do, the job is everything in your life. So I think it's all of those parts. And I think it's about, finding what works for you and not allowing that to interfere with your health, with your life.
I think it's the nature of the job to kind of pull you on the extremes.
Yeah.
You either are in love with the job
Yeah.
or you just hate it because you had a really terrible flight.
Yeah.
And it's a skill to be able to center yourself
Yeah.
and to come back to yourself. And see, I think something that I would like people to remember if they become a cabin crew, or maybe if they are already cabin crew, to always remember why they got the job in the first place. And of course, the motivation can change after you get the job and you see how reality is, in fact. But if there is a reason to keep you there, always remember what that reason is and to hold tight on it.
Absolutely. It's like a relationship,
Yeah.
right? When you're like getting sick of your partner, it's like, why do I like this person in the first place? What,
Reminder.
what made me fall in love? Okay, let's look at that person again. And I was explaining to my husband, because even nowadays he asks me a question after 6 years, and he's like, so how did you manage 14 years? And I would say, if you have turnarounds back to back and you're extremely tired and you're flying during the night and then you have a flight to Europe, like you come to Romania, to Bucharest, and you have like this beautiful flight, everyone is happy. Then you go to a beautiful city and you have amazing food. You stay in a 5-star hotel, enjoy your time, you have money to spend, you go back on a normal hour, land, go home, go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, get up the next day feeling like you're a normal person and go to,
Yeah.
And those times, in my view, is when I say, okay, that makes sense. That's why I'm here. And then that brings you back and kind of like reminds you why you're doing it. Or when you have amazing passengers or amazing crew that kind of, I remember crew that, I had one flight with and like touched my life
Yeah.
in such a way. So those are the things that keep you, in my view. And that makes, okay, yeah, I understand why I'm doing that, you know.
Oh my God, I have so many questions I want to ask, and I don't even know which one to pick. One of the things I was curious about, because of course I see everything through my lens, through my own experience, and my experience was very intense. I really enjoyed my time there, and it really changed me. For me, it was a transformative experience. And of course, I tend to believe that this is how it is with this job, but I'm aware it's not really for everyone. And I'm curious how it was for you. Was it something, maybe a moment, or maybe the whole experience that really transformed you? Is it like something you couldn't have lived it in any other way but through this job?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like in so many ways, I saw that stage of my life is like a roller coaster, right? Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, but it was definitely a chapter, and I see my life in chapters. And Emirates, in that time that I was living in Dubai, has definitely done something incredible that I don't think any other job would have, because it tests you in so many ways. And if to survive that and to be a good person and to I don't, it's hard to explain, but I cannot see any other job, because you are exposed to so many environments, right? You have experiences in so many different cultures. You are exposed to so many different people and conversations and dramas, and it's, I mean, what other job can do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to an office, like you go to your briefing, and you don't know what is the team that you're going to have that day, the crew. You don't know what the passengers are going to be like. You go into a new place. You don't know what that place is going to be like. And like very little things, simple things, I always remember that had a huge impact, right? It could be, I don't know, being in a city, being in India or being in Bangladesh, and seeing poverty from a completely different level, or talking to people, understanding people's difficulties or lives completely different. It kind of opens your mind, and you don't feel so small anymore. You feel like, okay, this is much bigger than your little life, right? And you learn so much. And of course, you can take it that way, or you can just see the negative.
Negative, yeah.
But I think that there's so much to take in when you're traveling, when you're dealing with so many people. Absolutely. Like, I couldn't think of anything else that.
One thing that always impressed me with this job was that, as you said, we just met before the flight in the briefing room, maybe 20, maybe 30 cabin crew members, just talking about the flight itself, getting to know each other as much as we can. And for a bunch of people who met just, I don't know, 1 hour before the flight, you end up having maybe the most wonderful day, or the most wonderful layover with some people that are strangers, basically.
Yeah.
And this kind of connection, of course, it didn't happen on all the flights. It's normal to meet people you don't click with, but to be able, of course, to still work in a professional way. But those moments were something that I never experienced in any other way. And I think this is something most crew kind of take it very light, They don't realize, wow, this is a really big deal. I mean, I guess I don't know, maybe you can confirm this. I think you need to have a type of personality in order to be able to be a cabin crew, but I'm not saying it in a way that it's untouchable. You can have it within you, but just, wake it up
Yeah.
with this job.
Yeah. No, yeah. And you have like you are away from family, away from friends. So a lot of times you connect with the person, even if it's for a flight or 2 hours of conversation. And it's really meaningful because you are so your life is so open, free. You're not like you don't have like a family unit or I mean, some people have married and have partners, but most of them are single people who are like, so you have your emotions, you have your needs, so you connect with that person for that time. It doesn't matter if it's a one flight, a 3 hour flight or 15 hours flight or but it's just a connection is a connection. It doesn't matter. And I do remember people that I connected with that way and that we had amazing conversations and you learned so much from. And that's something that I'll never forget. Yeah.
This is something truly valuable.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned something about your book, and I don't want to end this podcast without you telling me more. How did you decide to write it? How did you feel going through that experience?
So the long haul, I had in mind, we hear all the time, oh, you guys should write. Right? A lot of passengers, oh, you have such an incredible life. You should write, you should write a book. And I had this in mind. And I think my husband has a big part in that because when we met, he asked me 2 questions and they were decisive. It was the second date, it was very deep. And he said, what are your dreams? What do you want to do from now on? And when you don't think, but it's like in you, and you just don't have to think. And I said, I want to write a book, and I want to have a house in Italy. It's like, whoa, okay. And he's like, oh my gosh, did I say that? And he's like, okay. So I'll keep that in mind. So our relationship developed and everything, and I started writing, but I was not really confident. It's like, oh, maybe I'll publish, maybe I won't. And he really pushed me to keep doing it. And it took me 1.5 years, almost 2 years from starting to publishing on Amazon. I self-published. What made me do it? I started when I resigned. So the first week I was in California, I started to write. It was somehow therapy. It was therapeutic for me, and it was a way to remember. It was a way to stay connected. It was a way to
integrate.
To integrate, it's like have like a diary, something that I wanted to share. So it became like, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to do this. I had the time. I felt that when you finish something and you can look from outside and you can bring those stories looking from the outside, it was more valuable because I could reflect. I had the time to reflect. I wasn't rushing to get another job. I had the time, I had support, and I had a desire. So it started really well. And of course, I had times was like, oh, I can't do this anymore. It's so hard. Like every writer has those days. Like I can't think of anything else, And then he was like, okay, you need a structure. You need to sit down for 2 or 3 hours and write. It doesn't matter what comes out. So I started to put structure and discipline. It's like, okay, I need to finish this by December, by Christmas. And I did. And then I edited. So it was like, I wanted to show the other part of our lives. I mean, we see movies and books about the glamour, the drinking, the parties, the traveling. I wanted to show to people the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
In my experience, everything I went through, I had relationships, I had a marriage, I had a divorce in Dubai. In 14 years, I had depression. I had so many issues with myself, and also I wanted to tell those stories, and what it's actually like to be in it. Mm-hmm. So it was everything together. And it's like, okay, why not? And it was something that I did for myself. And then it was really weird because you don't think about people are going to read it, right?
Yeah.
And then when I started getting reviews and feedback, and people was like, oh my gosh, I read that story. And I was like, wow, I didn't think about that people are going to actually know so much about me, and you have to be very vulnerable and accept the vulnerability and that people will know about your life. And that's okay. And there's gonna be people who are gonna criticize, there's gonna be people who are gonna love it. And it's okay. It's your story.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's unique.
Yeah.
I think it's very good that you don't think about the reactions, because otherwise you would never finish such a thing.
No, you never do anything in life. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I respect. I had very good feedback. And what was interesting was, I think I mentioned to you, was not only I was expecting that most of my readers would be cabin crew. It was not the case. It was like people who were interested in knowing about the lifestyle and the job, and a lot of feedback from men, from older people, from all types of, people from all ages and cultures, and just like curious to know what it's like, So that was very rewarding. Yeah.
Where can people find your book if they want to find your story in detail?
Yeah, so Amazon.com, Amazon UAE, Japan, UK. If you Google it, the long haul, you can get most places you can get ebooks. I can't remember all the countries, but I remember England. A lot of people from India, Japan. I saw it in Japan. So yeah,
So you sell it hard copy as well?
hard copy and ebook. Yeah, both.
Yeah. So it's very easy there to.
Yeah, it's easy to decide what's better for you. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's amazing. Okay. Again, I'm not gonna. I think we need 2 days to actually go through everything, because it's such a complex subject, and I love it. It's something I love talking about, and that's because of all the growth that it brought to me.
Yeah.
And I see it's the same.
The same, absolutely. And I mean, I'm sure people can ask questions, right?
Yeah, and I will be more than happy to answer them and to clarify anything that needs to be clarified.
Yeah.
But I cannot let you go before I ask you this question. The question.
Okay.
So the question is something that you get on almost every flight. At least I did.
Okay.
What is your favorite destination?
Oh my gosh. I say this now. I wouldn't say that when I was flying, because I didn't know that country so well as I do. I would say nowadays is Japan, because I got to know Japan with my husband, because it's like his place in the world. When I was flying, I would say New York. It's so hard to choose. Every destination and every place has a specific and like a story, right? And something special. Nowadays, I would say Japan for so many reasons. Back then, I would say New York. Yeah, it's really hard to answer that. Yeah.
It's hard because every city, every place you visit has its unique energy.
Yeah.
And it also depends a lot on what mood you're in, and also the company. I think the company can shape a lot the experience you're having in a certain place.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, of course, if you traveled with your husband in Japan, I'm sure that it's impossible not to have beautiful memories about that place. So, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would say, and New York, because it was so, like, I always wanted to travel to New York. So the
So
first
alive.
time, it's so alive. There's so much going on, and then I don't even a big. So nowadays, I would never say New York, because I don't like big cities anymore. But
Old news, right?
getting older,
Never gets old, actually. No, I love New York.
it's the culture, and there's so much going on. So, but I mean, we're always changing, right? So
Yeah, exactly. And you have different likings,
Exactly.
different phases of your life.
absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
So now, before we end it, maybe there is something that you can share with the people who are aspiring to be cabin crew, something to either motivate them or to bring a little bit of a reality check, whatever you feel like, sure.
I would say, not only if you're choosing to be cabin crew or anything that we decide to do in life, I believe in dreams. I believe in following dreams. And I managed, in the other dream that I wanted to have was the house in Italy and renovate. And I believe when you really want something, we can do almost everything. But I also believe in discipline and structure and really having a plan. So really researching about, okay, who I am I that type of person? What do I really know? And really digging deep and understanding, okay, is that really what I want to do? why, asking yourself the right questions for this job or any job. Okay, what are the negatives? Am I able to manage that, to deal with that? What's my resources? What's my plan B if things don't go well? So it's really about looking inside yourself and asking you those questions and really not overthinking, because then we don't do anything, right?
Yeah.
From a job to relationships and becoming a mother, whatever, but really knowing yourself and knowing that it's not always easy and fun, and strengthening yourself and preparing yourself for the times where you're not at the peak or you're not your happiest. And okay, what do I do then? What is going to help me? Is it having friends? Is it reading a book? Is it going to nature? Is it doing yoga? Whatever it is that grounds you and gives that something else to you. Yeah, I think.
Sounds here. Thank you so much. So much to say, but we're gonna stop here for today. Thank you so much, Zara, for accepting to be here and for having such a pleasant conversation.
It's been a great way to finish this trip in Romania. And I have to say, we're in Romania, in Brasov, and we met by chance. I didn't believe that. But every person I've met here, and I feel even emotional saying that, but every person in every interaction, and I spent 14 years just 2 hours away from here, and I never came here. And I wonder why. Maybe because I was meant to be here now. And I am absolutely in love with this country, with those cities and with the food, with the people. Thank you so much. And that's like the best way to finish this adventure here.
I'm
Thank you.
happy you're finally you're feeling good and amazing here. And I think it was the timing, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the right time. Absolutely.
This was the end of our first episode of this podcast. Thank you so much for following till the end. And until next time, just keep your heads in the clouds.
Thank you.